the Gauteng Department of Agriculture is inviting interested groups to submit proposals on the Cannabis Industrialisation Programme. This is part of the department's new Cannabis Industrialisation Plan. The department says this will unlock economic opportunities and create jobs. For more on this, let's bring in Dorah, who's the department's Deputy Director General for Natural Resource Management. She joins us via our telephone line, Dorah, because you're currently being load shed, but that's a different discussion. Thanks very much indeed for your time. Welcome to the program. Is it safe to say that the Gauteng Department or the Gauteng government is turning to Dorah essentially for jobs and economic opportunities?
I wouldn't necessarily put it that way. I would say that it's safe to say that the Gauteng government is exploring high growth sectors, including this area of cannabis. And we tend to really classify it as Dorah. So at this point in time, with the call that we've issued out, we are talking about hemp for industrial use. So you would have hemp and you would have marijuana, which would be Dorah. And marijuana, which has a high, what we call a THC content, which is the stuff that really plays around with your brain. That is really regulated elsewhere, and most of it would be used for medicinal purposes and so forth, and would require certain licensing. The hemp, however, has been opened up for permitting through the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and that is the cannabis family that is less toxic. Like, it's got very less THC content, so it's not really a drug, but rather it's a super plant, so to say, that can be used for many intentions, including complementary medicine. You would see now in pharmacies and a number of health shops, there's a product from CBD oil. Most of that comes from hemp rather than your marijuana part that is intoxicating. And there is also a lot of uses in terms of industrial, because it's got the stem and can be used for fiber, but then also building products like your hempcrete and so forth, which is a very strong bonding product. So we are then exploring that part of the plant, given its high potential of being an industrial product that can really create a lot of jobs through beneficiation on production of those different product lines. Yeah. So we are looking at that.
So the industrialization plan obviously comes in the context of there already being people who are using this plant for the multiple purposes that you've already outlined. What plans is the Gauteng government putting in place to ensure that those people are included in these, I guess, objectives of industrializing the industry?
Yes, okay. Yeah, no, exactly. So there's quite a number of people that are in this particular space, both for hemp and marijuana, right, by the way. And a lot of the products that they produce are export-oriented. So we are looking at, first and foremost, creating a very strong domestic market as well. Export is important, and we would like to really be the hub for exporting of those products. So we have been, for the past 2 years, really, we've been engaging and talking with captains of industry in this space. We have met and visited plants for all those that are producing. So part of this process is to really even formalize those engagements. So meaning those that are already producing and active in the space would also be encouraged to apply. As you know, we are a public sector organization. We can't just enter into a partnership. We need to open up a call, and there are those that we might not have reached who are already engaging in that space. So we are not taking that for granted. And that is where most our win will be, where we do not start from scratch, because we are hoping to really learn and grasp from those that have been in the market, that have been selling their product, that have been really beneficiating, for them to then grow through this program that we have, either in us availing the land, in us availing platforms for blended financing, and in us really simplifying the regulatory requirements to really enable ease of doing business. Right. But then most importantly, in working with them to assist in incubating those starters, or those, especially the youth, that are still looking at entering this particular space. that know-how and the experience of those that have been operating in the space would be quite critical moving forward.
That's good to hear, especially because that was the concern by many activists in the space, that people will be left out because of barriers to entry. Very quickly, Dorah, how many jobs are you hoping this will be able to create, at least in the short term?
Well, what we know is that we've got globally the cannabis market is kept at over $50 billion US. In South Africa, there is a prediction that in the next 2-3 years it can reach just over 20 billion rand. In terms of how it then translates to jobs, obviously because it's a new sector at this point in time, we're dealing with predictions, but we are looking at really thousands of jobs coming up because we are dealing with a whole value chain from cultivation through to processing and through to point of sale kind of an issue. So very difficult to pin down a number, but we are really looking at thousands of jobs and quite a number of new businesses arising from this.
Yeah, there's definitely consensus that there is potential in this industry. Thanks very much indeed for helping us place how the Gauteng government is responding to this. Appreciate your time on this Wednesday morning. Dorah Modise is the Deputy Director General for the Agriculture Department in Gauteng, in charge of natural resource management. Once again, thanks very much indeed.